God damn.
So, Wallbox is going to sound terrible.
Right. I know. I switched up myself. This guy in here, probably not. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. And that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Food, I have to put a stick right in front of it.
You always want more,
Always want more.
you know?
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3 1 2 3.
You have a TV voice.
Okay.
Student who is deaf in public schools. However, the parents argue those dollars are not going to their child's education the way it's supposed to. That has our Michelle Bowden asking, where's the money?
Up until a few years ago, there were several different options for teaching deaf students in Mecklenburg County. Now, though, the parents we talked to say there's only one option, and they say it's setting their kids up for failure.
Afternoons in this house look a little different than most. There's all the hubbub of after-school energy, but not a lot of noise. Mom and Dad are deaf, and so are 4 of their 7 kids. 3 of the kids who are deaf are at University Meadows Elementary School, where they are mainstreamed in a class with all hearing kids and have an interpreter.
It's nice for my deaf children to be in a challenging environment where they're stimulated to learn and around other hearing children. That's fine, but there isn't communication and association with other deaf children. Besides their siblings, they need to be around other children who are like them.
We worked with an interpreter to do this interview where Mom told us how frustrated she is with the way her kids are being taught.
So all day long, the only person that they're interacting with is the interpreter. So they don't get to learn vicariously from other students. They don't get the opportunity to help other students. They don't get the opportunity to be helped by other students. They don't get to talk about what's cool and what's not cool.
She says the only people that know sign language at her kids' school are the interpreters assigned to each of them.
So when the kids go to school, they literally can only communicate with the interpreter, and that's it?
Yes, just the interpreter.
It hasn't always been this way. Until 2016, CMS had a special program for deaf students in Mecklenburg County where the kids were taught under one roof at Cotswold Elementary. In fact, that's where Carolyn went to school, and it's what she wanted for her own kids.
To see what's happening and to hear from the interpreters.
Donna McCord-Smolik is a deaf advocate who also grew up here in Charlotte and sent her kids to Cotswold.
You know, the hearing students are in such for them, an integrated classroom, but it is such not an integrated classroom for the deaf student. They're left out, they're placed on an island, and all of the hearing people around them who don't know any different think they're doing the right, best thing because they've got them so integrated that they've erased them, and there they are sitting alone, and it just breaks my heart.
We checked with the state and learned every North Carolina school district decides how they want to approach teaching deaf students. Wake County, the school district most comparable to Mecklenburg, told us most of the students who are hearing impaired in their district attend their home schools with an interpreter if needed. But Wake County also offers regional programs or cluster programs for deaf students at 3 schools. We also checked in with the National Association for the Deaf, NAD, who told us as of 2020, 70% of deaf students were mainstreamed across the country, but pointed to the 2004 Federal Individuals with Disabilities Education Improvement Act, or IDEA. That requires options for deaf children, including cluster schools that serve large groups of deaf students at selected schools. A spokesman for NAD told us, quote, deaf schools are an important placement opportunity mandated by IDEA that can be very beneficial for deaf children in providing education and community.
Because right now, all of the deaf children are dispersed, and it is hard for deaf children to be around other deaf children.
The state gives each school district an extra $5,600 per deaf student to make sure they have the tools they need. But Carolyn says money meant for her kids is being lumped in with money for all kids with special needs.
To use the money that is allocated for the deaf student and then subsume it into a larger budget that's paying for ramps and for other forms of access isn't fair. That money was allocated to the deaf student. It makes me wonder about their future. I see a lack of resources. I see a lack of education for the deaf children. I see them not being set for success.
The family we talked to say they're working with several advocates in town looking into the possibility of bringing a charter school for deaf students here in Mecklenburg County. They tell us right now they're in the exploratory phase. Reporting in Charlotte, Michelle Bowden, WCNC Charlotte.
Now our Where's the Money team works hard to hold those in power accountable, including the school systems and government agencies that use your taxpayer dollars. That being said, most of the time, it's your tips that really prompt us to start digging into those receipts. So if you have something you think we should investigate, please let us know. You can send an email to money@wcnc.com or reach out to us on social media.
When it comes to WCNC's Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich, our viewers tell the whole story.
Hey, if you're new to the area, this meteorologist is awesome.
I always stick with Brad Panovich when it comes to severe weather. He's rarely wrong.
You should follow Brad if you don't already. He's usually right on the money with his forecast.
I don't look at anything else besides what Brad says. We are fortunate to have him here.
Brad Panovich. Experience the difference with WCNC Charlotte weather.
Well, the first week of spring means a turn of a season and new beginnings. It also means time for some spring cleaning. Mental health experts say it's not just good for your home, but also your happiness. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg is getting the facts.
So I haven't started my spring cleaning yet, but it's the first week of spring and there's still plenty of time. According to the American Cleaning Institute 2024 study, 80% of American households plan on spring cleaning this year. And I guess we're getting cleaner because that's up 10% from 3 years ago. So while more people will be scrubbing their homes, is it actually good for your mental health? Let's get the facts. Our source is Dr. Adam Borland, clinical psychologist with the Cleveland Clinic, the American Cleaning Institute, and a study from the Princeton University Neuroscience Institute.
We're coming out of maybe a sense of hibernation. And when we are able to go through our homes, our apartments, wherever it is that we're living, and go through and begin to reduce some of the clutter, it really can feel like a new sense of beginning.
According to Dr. Borland, spring cleaning allows us to regain a sense of control and accomplishment, which can help with anxiety and depression. Princeton University compared the impact of living in cluttered versus organized spaces and found people living in cluttered spaces were coping with an overabundance of visual stimuli, like shoes on staircases, dishes in the sink, wrinkled clothes, and so on. And they found that kind of overload caused more stress. It can feel overwhelming tackling all those rooms or all that mess at once. That's why Dr. Borland says take it one step at a time.
Maybe one shelf in one cabinet, and you view that as your goal, and you see that through to completion. And what that does is it helps to build momentum.
The American Cleaning Institute says most Americans take their time with it. 45% say it takes 3 or more days to spring clean, 23% says 3 to 4 days, and 22% says 5 or more days. So it's more like a marathon than a sprint. But at the end of it all, experts say you will feel better about your space, which can reduce anxiety and stress. With your Verify Fact Check, I'm Megan Bragg.
And if you have something you would like verified, just email us at verify@wcnc.com.
When did you know what you wanted to be?
Hey, Mom, the weather's on!
WCNC Charlotte's chief meteorologist, Brad Panovich, always knew what he was meant to do.
All right, don't forget your umbrella.
In fact, he joined the American Meteorological Society when he was 13. Now Brad is all grown up. You can see him right here on WCNC Charlotte, making sure you're informed and safe.
Hey, where did all my hair go?
Experience the difference.
For 4:48 right now. Let's send it over to Larry Sprinkle on this Tuesday morning. See how we're looking out there. Hey, Larry.
Good morning. Not a bad start. Some clouds out there this morning, but no issues. And temperatures are pleasant considering the time of the year. And this time yesterday, we had a lot of locations were in the 30s. We're 52 here, 41 at Boone. Yesterday morning, they were in the low 20s. It's 50 at Chester, South Carolina. Over to Albemarle, mid 40s there in Stanley County. For today, mainly cloudy. Late day showers a possibility. We'll look for temperatures this afternoon somewhere from about 60 to 65 degrees. A little bit below the average of 67, 68 degrees. As we head towards the afternoon, showers possible as we get through the evening hours. You can see about 10 o'clock tonight, some heavier rain back to the west. Overnight, we see a much better chance. So we scan the skies right now. Just some clouds out there this morning. The big view indicates where the storm system is along a frontal boundary. Back to the west, we got some rain headed all the way from Cincinnati, all the way to across Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, to Nashville, and all the way down into areas in Mississippi and Alabama where there's some heavy rain, even some storms tracking across Louisiana. So rain likely Wednesday and Thursday, dry weather from Friday through Monday. We'd see a few scattered showers by Tuesday of next week. As we check across the area, here's what we're looking at as far as that pollen report. It's off the charts almost today, but with some showers tomorrow and again on Thursday. We're going to lower that pollen count, which would be good news. We get the showers out there, as we said, tomorrow and again, a few showers on Thursday. High temperatures across the region today. It'll be around 73 at Charleston, South Carolina. A little bit cool in the high country. Boone hits about 46, around 67 at Raleigh-Durham, 71 at Columbia. We'll be in the mid-60s here in the Charlotte metro area. We really should be in the upper 60s this time of the year. Here's that guy roofing 7-day forecast. Today, there's a chance of a few showers late in the day. Good chance of rain tomorrow. 65 degrees, a few leftover showers on Thursday, but cooler. And then look at Friday afternoon. We're going to actually be close to 70 degrees and a fine looking weekend ahead. Easter weekend looking great. On Saturday, we will be in the mid 70s, and Sunday afternoon, upper 70s. There's some of those backyard thermometers probably making it about 80 degrees. And speaking of 80, we're going to be close to 80 again Monday of next week with mostly sunny skies. That's the weather.
Finding a way to connect with patients, staff, even visitors, Atrium Health is using the power of artwork to uplift people the moment they walk into the hospital. WCNC Charlotte's Miles Harris shares the details.
Art can serve many purposes, and inside Atrium Health, each mural placed on the walls aims to bring comfort to any and every person the moment they walk inside.
Anything that can take your mind off of what you're here for is a wonderful thing, right?
Brian Stepien understands not every trip to the hospital is a positive one, and he wanted to help change that. So he organized the idea of using art to help people cope with their emotions inside the hospital setting. Each piece inside the main lobby is designed by local artists like Angela Gonzalez.
I think it's very important to have art in hospitals. It will help the patients, it will help the family members who come to accompany them, and it will help the staff. It will give a sense of serenity and feeling more like a home.
Every 3 months, the murals are rotated with fresh art from more local artists, and Gonzalez has now found a new passion with her work.
If I can help someone with my artwork, definitely is something that I want to keep doing in the future.
Brian says the hospital sees around 3,000 people walk through the lobby daily, and their hope is to uplift spirits with every visitor.
You know, we see people wandering through here, taking a break, you know, from visiting a loved one upstairs and coming down here and kind of wandering through the gallery. So, yeah, and you see staff doing the same thing. So it's great to see, you know, folks kind of taking advantage of having this here.
At Atrium Health, Miles Harris, WCNC Charlotte.
Time now to connect the dots. When we make the news, it makes sense. Car prices are finally coming down, but before we get too excited, experts say do not expect prices to ever get back to pre-pandemic levels.
Car prices are the best we've seen in years, and they're not going to get any better. Let's connect the dots. Kelley Blue Book says the average price paid for a new car right now is $47,000. That's down 2% from the same time last year. It's also the lowest average cost we've seen since March 2022. Make no mistake, cars are still generally more expensive, but as inventories replenish, dealerships and manufacturers are more likely to offer buyers incentives like rebates or discounts. And the floor isn't getting any lower. Right now, there is a major used car shortage because fewer cars were produced during the pandemic. Until that changes, new cars can only be offered for so little, or else they run the risk of being less expensive than their used equivalents. That is Connecting the Dots.
WCNC Charlotte.
Good morning, Carolinas.
Tune in to the team that's preparing you for your day.
We are following two major breaking news stories this morning.
See the difference in your morning.
We can see clear skies out there off in the distance.
Everything is flowing just fine.
We're asking where's the money so you can get ahead in 2024.
Responsible reporting, community-focused, unique content.
Good morning, Savannah. Hi, Sarah. Great to see you.
See the difference. Weekday mornings on WCNC Charlotte.
We all get random letters or junk mail in our mailboxes, and one viewer got a specific letter asking to fill out a survey for the greater Charlotte area. But is it a scam? Our Megan Bragg checks it out in today's Verify.
Got an email from Stan and Faith D. They sent us this picture of a letter they got in the mail. It asked them to fill out this survey giving their opinions about the greater Charlotte area. It also says they can receive up to $2 in gift cards if they fill out the survey. They wanted to know if it's a scam, so let's verify. Our sources for this is we went to Juliana O'Rourke. She's the Vice President of Marketing for Charlotte Better Business Bureau, and the survey itself, and GCJ Research. We looked up the survey ourselves, and it took us to this website, which says recipients have been randomly selected from public lists of registered voters in the Charlotte area. The site explains that the survey asks for opinions about issues recently in the news and important to the community. At the very bottom of the page, the site says the survey company GCJ Research LLC is not affiliated with any government entity or political party.
It definitely does seem like it's legitimate. If you research online, you're not going to see any scams per se, but you're also not going to find as much information as you would like. They are not a national survey company.
When we looked up the name of the survey company, we found this website. The description says GCJ Research conducts surveys on a variety of topics, including interests, daily habits, media consumption, and politics. However, O'Rourke says you should proceed with caution in taking this survey because it does ask for a phone number.
You want to first check out their privacy policy. You want to understand what they're doing with that data and with that information.
So we can verify that no, this is not a scam. However, O'Rourke says proceed with caution when taking any survey that asks for your personal information. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
And if you have something you would like verified, just email us at verify@wcnc.com.
A new social networking app is being piloted in the Queen City. Linksy was created by Charlotte entrepreneurs to help small businesses and local professionals build connections and community. WCNC Charlotte's Julia Kaufman explains how the collaboration is seeking solutions for the disconnect many of us feel post-pandemic.
In a world of remote work and social media, many professionals are struggling to network in person post-pandemic. We spoke with a small business hoping to change that.
The Giddy Goat is a popular cafe in Plaza Midwood.
We opened about 3.5 years ago, right when COVID hit.
At first, it was hard to whisk up business.
They wanted us to have the stickers on the floor and keep everybody separated, and but the whole idea of the Giddy Goat was the opposite.
Now Giddy Goat brings people together.
Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio, and Sauvignon Blanc.
But General Manager Enzo Pazos says it can be hard in a post-pandemic virtual world.
You might have people wearing headphones, having FaceTime calls or whatever at meetings, so sometimes it's hard to make the first approach.
Pazos hopes becoming a hotspot in the new Linksy app will help people trade their wireless connection for human connection.
You go live at the location and you can make seamless connections in real time.
Founder Joel Putoff says the app links professionals with similar interests when they're at the same hotspot, helping them link up in real life.
You can check in at your local coffee shops or cafeteria halls or markets or festivals, and instead of just, hey, who are you? It's like, oh my gosh, we have something in common.
10 local places are fostering the growing community, bringing them more business while becoming a staple meetup spot.
It's amazing.
Linksy will be piloting in Charlotte for the next several months with the goal of expanding to nearby markets like Raleigh and Atlanta next. Julia Kaufman, WCNC Charlotte.
And don't forget, WCNC Charlotte wants to highlight the actions being taken to solve local problems. We don't know about all of the solutions that are in work right now, so if you know of anything going on, let us know. You can email us at newstips@wcnc.com.
When I think about the community, I think about the time that I've been here. I've been in this community almost my entire adult life. So you get to know the people. When you know what they care about, then that's what you care about. This community looks at all of us who do weather here at WCNC Charlotte as part of their family. And when you're part of their family, you want to make sure you do it just for them.
Well, the story of bringing the former epicenter back to life has been a long one, and today there is a new chapter.
Yeah, a new restaurant is set to open in the coming months, but the retail space is painting a bigger picture of revitalizing Uptown. It's why WCNC Charlotte's Kia Marie is taking us to Queen City Quarter, and she's asking, where's the money?
Right now, it's not much more than a dark room with ladders and ongoing construction on the inside. But it'll soon be the space of kitchen and cocktails. While the present empty grounds and not-so-Asian history may scare some entrepreneurs away, well, Kevin Kelly says he picked this spot with purpose.
I love to come to things that I believe are imperfect and try to make them beautiful.
Now, Kelly owns Kitchen and Cocktails. He already has a couple of locations in Washington, D.C. and Chicago.
How, as a business owner, do you assess the risk in putting your business in an area that, quite frankly, has a lot of history behind it that leads other people to think that that's not the place to be?
Yeah, well, the fortunate thing is that I've been able to have enjoyed the epicenter before.
If a city's not changing and adapting, you got issues.
That's James Labar there. He's a senior vice president of economic development with Charlotte Center City Partners. It's a nonprofit working to revitalize Uptown and its surrounding districts.
I think everyone knew about the heydays of Epicenter in the past. And so I think one of the metrics of success is the number of businesses that are coming in here.
He says last year, Uptown brought about 30 businesses. It's numbers like those that Labar is trying to increase. So as he works on growing that metric of success, Kelly has his own metrics to work on.
And we're still going to bring out at least 150,000 people per year to our restaurant location that we're developing. You have to go beyond what you currently see. And ideally, you have the vision to understand what it is to be or what it can become.
As some hope what this could become includes the best parts of what the epicenter used to be. I'm Kia Murray, WCNC Charlotte.
Now, there's a great opportunity to get ahead and grow your creativity at a free workshop right here in Charlotte.
Over the next several weeks, a local nonprofit is teaching people how to shoot films, write poetry, and make music at several locations in our area. WCNC Charlotte's Larry Sprinkle shows us how this program can help you make a difference in your life.
Rule of third. Say it, get it stuck in your head. Rule of third.
Roy Sean Watkins, an 8th grader at Mint Hill Middle School, is just one of many students who'll be able to put their love for technology to good use after school. His mom, Sarah Durant, says as soon as she heard about a free opportunity to learn how to shoot films, record and produce music, and write poetry, she didn't hesitate to get him involved.
He's a digital guy. He loves videoing. He likes, creating beats. He likes doing things like that. So I think anything, electronic-wise is the avenue that he wants to go right now.
Leading the 8-week workshop is A.J. Williams, the founder of Creative Cornerstone. It's coming soon to recreation centers in Southview, Sugar Creek, Tuckasegee, Methodist Home, and Albemarle Road neighborhoods.
I just showed you how I want you to frame them up, so this should be easy for you to do, right?
His nonprofit focuses on providing Mecklenburg County adults and youth with behind-the-scenes access and hands-on tips and tricks for media production. Photography and videography are passions that inspired A.J. at a young age. He's now passing those skills along to others.
Later on, I got into producing films with a company, All Grown Up Entertainment, up in Syracuse, New York, and we've done about 11 films that are published, like Amazon Prime, Tubi, Peacock.
A.J. hopes the workshop gives families a new outlet to express themselves creatively or even learn potential business skills. A.J.'s wife, Queen Williams, says at the end of the workshop there's going to be an on-stage showcase in each neighborhood for participants to show what they've learned.
Because you want to be a part of the showcase, either on stage or in the crowd, because you want to really, really big up Charlotte and what we're trying to do here.
The free workshops are sponsored by Culture Blocks, a community partnership funded by Mecklenburg County. If you're interested, the time to reach out is right now, because as soon as we hit May, they'll be saying, that's a wrap. I'm Larry Sprinkle, WCNC Charlotte.
Hey YouTube, this is Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here at WCNC Charlotte. We want you to head over to our Weather IQ YouTube page, where we're making you smarter and safer. We have a passion for weather science, and we want you to understand what's happening when the weather changes, because in the end, that's what keeps you safe. It's not about being scared, it's about being informed. Browse our collection of fun and informative clips and look for new segments every week. We're here to raise your weather IQ. Experience the difference on WCNC Charlotte.
4:48 right now. Let's send it over to Larry Sprinkle on this Tuesday morning. See how we're looking out there. Hey, Larry.
Good morning. Not a bad start. Some clouds out there this morning, but no issues. And temperatures are pleasant considering the time of the year. And this time yesterday, we had a lot of locations were in the 30s. We're 52 here. 41 at Boone. Yesterday morning, they were in the low 20s. It's 50 at Chester, South Carolina. Over at Albemarle, mid-40s there in Stanley County. For today, mainly cloudy. Late day showers, a possibility. We'll look for temperatures this afternoon somewhere from about 60 to 65 degrees. A little bit below the average of 67, 68 degrees. As we head towards the afternoon, showers possible as we get through the evening hours. You can see about 10 o'clock tonight, some heavier rain back to the west. Overnight, we see a much better chance. We scan the skies right now. Just some clouds out there this morning. The big view indicates where the storm system is along a frontal boundary. Back to the west, we got some rain headed all the way from Cincinnati, all the way to across Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, to Nashville, and all the way down into areas in Mississippi and Alabama where there's some heavy rain, even some storms tracking across Louisiana. So rain likely Wednesday and Thursday, dry weather from Friday through Monday. We'd see a few scattered showers by Tuesday of next week. As we check across the area, here's what we're looking at as far as that pollen report. It's off the charts almost today, but with some showers tomorrow and again on Thursday. We're going to lower that pollen count, which would be good news. We get the showers out there, as we said, tomorrow and again, a few showers on Thursday. High temperatures across the region today. It'll be around 73 at Charleston, South Carolina. A little bit cool in the high country. Boone hits about 46, around 67 at Raleigh-Durham, 71 at Columbia. We'll be in the mid-60s here in the Charlotte metro area. We really should be in the upper 60s this time of the year. Here's that guy roofing 7-day forecast. Today, there's a chance of a few showers late in the day. Good chance of rain tomorrow. 65 degrees, a few leftover showers on Thursday, but cooler. And then look at Friday afternoon. We're going to actually be close to 70 degrees and a fine-looking weekend ahead. Easter weekend looking great. On Saturday, we will be in the mid-70s, and Sunday afternoon, upper 70s. There's some of those backyard thermometers probably making it about 80 degrees. And speaking of 80, we're going to be close to 80 again Monday of next week with mostly sunny skies. That's the weather.
New at 6 o'clock, getting the community excited beyond just March Madness. A local nonprofit is using basketball to connect with the next generation. Hill Charlotte held a youth basketball tournament at the Keith Family YMCA. The goal, keeping kids safe. WCNC Charlotte's Miles Harris takes a look at its impact it's making.
March Madness wasn't the only sporting event happening in Charlotte this weekend. Heel Charlotte having their own basketball tournament for the youth in an effort to keep kids out of harm's way. Greg Jackson and his organization, Heel Charlotte, are no strangers when it comes to connecting with the youth. This effort includes a basketball tournament at the Keith Family YMCA.
We want to make sure that we have the correct programming that speaks to them and that they know that they got people like us that's out here that care about them, man.
Several kids within the Charlotte community, ages 13 to 17, give it a
Hotel associated with that. WCNC Charlotte's Jamie Monreal shares some travel tips that you might want to know before you start your adventure, so you're not left asking, where's the money?
Well, these are the Eclipse glasses we'll wear here at the station for the eclipse, but we'll only get a partial eclipse here at home. If you want a total eclipse, you'll have to travel some ways. Travel website Going is sharing some tips for people who want a front row view. First, if you haven't booked your travel yet, you're already late to the game. However, they say that doesn't mean you're completely out of luck. With some creativity and flexibility, you can see this few times in a lifetime phenomenon without breaking the bank. Now, the path of totality stretches from the west coast of Mexico to the east coast of Canada, running across the U.S. from Texas through the Midwest to New York State and Maine. So Going says the best spots to view the eclipse will likely be in Mexico and Texas. And while flight prices are going to vary depending on where you're flying from, the dates and when you buy your tickets, Going says historically the cheapest cities along the path of totality to fly to are Indianapolis, San Antonio, Buffalo, Austin, and Cleveland. Also, Going says using your airline points can be another great way to snag a last-minute fare for cheap. And if flights to the airports closest to you where you want to see the eclipse are just way too high, Going says to consider a road trip from a nearish airport where prices are experiencing a less of an eclipse surge. You might have to drive 3 to 4 hours to view the total eclipse, but it might be worth it to save some bucks. And that will be your tips to view the eclipse.
Jane Monreal, WCNC Charlotte.
At WCNC Charlotte, we believe it is crucial to make a difference in our communities.
That's why we go beyond just reporting the news. We ask, where's the money to hold the powerful accountable and get money back into your pockets?
Our verified team takes claims, finds sources, and gets you answers.
And we're keeping you weather aware, making you safer and smarter.
I'm Vanessa Rufus.
And I'm Colin Mayfield. Join us weeknights at 5, 6, and 11 and see the difference for yourself.
Only on WCNC Charlotte.
The countdown is on until next month's solar eclipse. WCNC Charlotte meteorologist Chris Mulcahy has everything you need to know about this natural phenomenon.
Everyone's getting pumped for the Great American Eclipse. Here's the deal, though. Not really going to be affecting us too much here in the Charlotte area. It's just a partial eclipse. You still need your special glasses to look at that. It's going to be around 80% totality, but that path of totality extends all the way from Texas up through New England. So likely if you haven't already planned on checking out the total solar eclipse, you're probably not going this year. But here's what you can expect around the Charlotte area. This is April 8th, 2024. The total time that we're going to see this event go on is 2 hours and 32 minutes roughly. It's 80.35%. I got that from Tony Rice. I'm NASA ambassador. The exact times that we're going to have this. It's about 1:54 that we start to see that shadow eclipse the sun, but then it's 3:12 that we're going to have that maximum eclipse, and then officially this is ending at 4:26. So this isn't the biggest event that we're going to see for the Charlotte area, but everyone in the path of totality, such as Austin, Texas, Waco, there's a lot of big places such as Dallas that are going to be along this. So this is about 100 miles wide. This is where most people are going to be going over the coming days, heading for April 8th. Just hope there's no cloud cover. That also includes Indianapolis through just barely Columbus, Toledo, eventually past Lake Erie up into the northern part of New England. But if you aren't able to hit that one, the next Great American Eclipse is August 12th, 2045. That extends from Northern California all the way down through Florida. If you don't want to go anywhere, eat your veggies, because the next total eclipse that's going to be here through the Charlotte area, May 2078. So mark your calendar.
Well, the latest report from the U.S. Department of Housing, though, as you can see, shows in 2023 there are more than 4,000 people unhoused in South Carolina. That number is up about 400 people from 2022.
It also found more men than women experienced homelessness. And tonight, WCNC Charlotte's Larry Sprinkle takes us to Rock Hill, where a local nonprofit is working with folks to give them a safe place and help make a difference.
Makes me feel good. Making a little extra money on
60-year-old Gerald Imhoff finally feels like he has a good grip on his life, earning some money to pay for the things he needs.
Toiletries if I need them.
This is not Gerald's first time being homeless.
I've been homeless once before in Anderson, South Carolina, and it was tough. It was tough. The Rock Hill Bethel Shelters, they have a lot of services that help.
The Bethel Shelter in Rock Hill, South Carolina is open both day and night to help people in the area who need a place to lay their heads.
73% of them are from York, Lancaster, Chester County. That is our target area. That's our community. That's who we serve. We serve individuals who need an emergency shelter.
Reverend Emily Sutton is the executive director of the shelter, and she, along with the rest of the staff, believes everyone deserves the dignity of a place to stay.
Our mission is to provide a safe place to sleep, a hot meal to eat, and pathways to self-sufficiency for individuals experiencing homelessness year-round.
Giving folks who have nowhere to go a place to store their belongings and some assistance getting back on their feet so they can become productive citizens.
We would then allow you to come in, use the restroom. Normally when we're in Suite S, we also have showers and lockers. We have laundry facilities, and we have wraparound services.
Those services are helping build a sense of security for people here.
When you can come here, have a roof over your head in a safe place where you don't have people trying to rob you. It's this versus sleeping on the streets or sleeping in the woods.
That's a path Gerald does not want to go down, and he knows he has to do his part.
You got to be willing to move forward. Unfortunately, I've seen people come in here that are just complacent where they're at. That's not going to get you ahead. You have to be willing to put forth some effort.
Gerald is willing to do it because he knows a little bit of structure can go a long way.
A lot of people, I believe, it keeps them out of trouble.
In Rock Hill, South Carolina, I'm Larry Sprinkle. Back to you.
And now Bethel Shelter's nighttime shelter is available to all unhoused men in the community. The daytime shelter is available to anyone needing help.
In a few months, Bethel hopes to finish adding showers to the shelter as well. So if you want to learn more about how you might be able to help, or if you need help yourself, follow the link in the story on WCNC.com.
WCNC Charlotte.
Weather is a kind of science that you get to see and experience every day. And I think some people don't even realize how much it affects them. That weather has a huge impact on how it threatens your family, your livelihood, or your home. So I think it really is one of those defining things we do that really affects everybody in our community.
See the difference.
That process of giving you a warning ahead of time and keeping you and your family safe is really important to me because I live here too. It's my family, it's my friends, it's my neighbors.
Well, March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. So the American Cancer Society says that colorectal cancer is the second most common cause of cancer death for both men and women.
That's why there is a push to get screened. And of course, the sudden death of actor and South Carolina native Chadwick Boseman reignited that push and that awareness. As WCNC Charlotte's Nick Sturdivant shows us, a Charlotte man now hopes his battle with the disease can help others.
Hey, Dr. K.
It's a doctor's visit that starts with a smile and hug for Sayu Tunji.
Yes, exactly.
These days, Sayu has a lot to smile about.
This whole year has a new meaning. It gave me a new meaning to life.
This time last year, he was able to ring the bell, surrounded by family.
I walk around the corner to ring the bell, and it's like a world of people. And I just broke down. That's when it hit me that I had gone through something that, you don't wish on your enemy.
That's something?
I felt pain in my stomach. I thought it was food poisoning, Labor Day weekend.
Colorectal cancer.
And the next day, started noticing the pain wasn't going away, and then when I went to the bathroom, I noticed there was blood.
He was diagnosed October 2022.
It's tough. It's tough.
You think you're young, you're healthy, okay, you got some symptoms. A lot of, particularly men, but certainly all people will ignore, will put off, will delay, and getting checked out is the most important thing.
Dr. Adam Kuykendall is an oncologist at Novant Health and also Sayu's doctor.
There's a lot of patients who have no family history of colorectal cancer, no family history of other cancers, and they are still being affected.
While the recommendation is to get screened starting at 45, he says don't hesitate to get checked out earlier if you have symptoms.
Stomach pain, blood in the stool, kind of change in the stool character.
It was a very eye-opening experience.
After surgery and intense chemotherapy, Sayu's cancer went into remission.
And my attitude was always positive. It's always positive. Smile through the pain, smile through the trouble.
And Sayu is now 43. He just celebrated his 1-year cancerversary, and he goes for a checkup every few months. And Sayu says he even pushes his friends on his soccer team to get screened. Now, for more information on colorectal cancer, you can find my story on WCNC.com or on the news app. Reporting for WCNC Charlotte, I'm Nick Sertivant.
A new settlement may change how much money real estate agents make off your move. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies what this means for you.
A $418 million settlement is about to change the game when it comes to commission for real estate agents. Sellers would no longer have to make a compensation proposal to prospective buyers and their agents. Many are saying that so-called standard 6% commission set by the National Association of Realtors will go away. But has it always been 6%? And does the association set these commission rates? Let's verify. Our sources, David Hoffman, CEO of David Hoffman Realty and the National Association of Realtors. In a statement, the NAR said, quote, the NAR does not set commissions. They are negotiable. The rule that has been the subject of litigation requires only that listing brokers communicate an offer of compensation. That offer can be any amount, including zero. According to the NAR policy, the boards and associations of realtors do not control, recommend, or suggest the commissions or fees charged to real estate brokerage services. Hoffman says agent commissions have always been negotiable and that there is not one set commission by law. He also says sellers have always been able to negotiate if they want the buyer to pay their agent's commission.
So I do see about 1 in 10 sellers saying I'm not going to pay a buyer's agent.
So we can verify that no, the NAR does not set these commission rates, and they have always been negotiable. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
And if you have something you would like verified, just email us at verify@wcnc.com.
Connect the dots and let us clear up the confusion. We're here to make sure the news makes sense. And with Connect the Dots, you'll understand how the headlines impact your family. See the difference on WCNC Charlotte.
For years, Do Greater Charlotte has been nurturing under-resourced neighborhoods through technology, but now they're looking to expand and enhance opportunities for both kids and young adults. WCNC Charlotte's Tanisha Woodard shares how they're seeking solutions to help communities in need push forward.
Into jewelry and fashion and art. I have like a body butter business.
For some kids, seeing is believing. That's why the nonprofit Do Greater Charlotte says their goal is to get kids connected.
When you start creating spaces like that, you start to create these natural connections, and our kids start to see what they can do and become.
William McNeely is the founder of Do Greater Charlotte. He says Charlotte's corridors of opportunity have limited resources. For years, they've been working to change that, creating their first space here on this truck, later expanding the technology and creative avenues to this building in West Charlotte.
We start to see this great ecosystem of kids being trained as creators and developers, and now they can, kind of move up the ladder and put that to work.
As the need continues to grow and juvenile crime spikes, McNeely says they're implementing plans to open a new location in Uptown, all in efforts of reaching more disconnected youth.
Do Greater Charlotte's initial vision from day one was to activate in all the corridors of opportunity. And so when you start building the hub uptown, that becomes your central location. And all these spokes out in the community starts to interact with each other, and that ecosystem starts to grow.
McNeely says the 20,000 square feet of space comes with a $5 million price tag. The nonprofit is looking for help to fund the new location as they work to expand opportunities and spark inspiration in teens and young adults.
I just really like it here. It's just a really good opportunity.
Tanisha Woodard, WCNC Charlotte.
So we here at WCNC Charlotte want to highlight the actions being taken to solve local problems. We don't know about them all, so if you know something that we don't know, tell us about it. Email us at newstips@wcnc.com.
A medical.
Welcome back to Flashpoint. A new report shows North Carolina is really leading the country in new electric vehicle investments. And those investments are only helping fuel the state's economy. Joining us now is David Kelly. He's the North Carolina State Director for the Environmental Defense Fund. Welcome to Flashpoint. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben. Excited to be here.
So a new report just released shows North Carolina leads the country in electric vehicle manufacturing industry. What makes the state of North Carolina such an ideal place?
Sure. Well, I guess I'd start a little higher level than that and say the report we released, I think, offers really good evidence that the bipartisan infrastructure law and the IRA adopted by Congress are helping to unlock private capital investment to grow EV and battery manufacturing and their supply chain industries. In North Carolina, I think we pair that policy support with a world-class workforce and a strong reputation that we have as a state as a leader in the clean tech industry space, and that we're seeing the benefits of that competitive advantage relative to our peer states.
So a combination of the federal legislation you mentioned as well as our local advantages here in North Carolina. So is there room for more electric vehicle growth here, do you think?
I think so. I think what we're seeing is just the beginning of this, really. I mean, to go back to the report a little bit and share that context, we partnered with a firm, WSP, which is a leading engineering, environment, and professional services firm, to inventory and assess concrete facility-level investment announcements for EV and battery manufacturing and supply chain industries. We see that in just the last 6 months, North Carolina has seen $9 billion in additional investment, and that's in addition to the $10 billion of announced investment as of last August. As you mentioned at the outset, that's the most growth over that time period of any other state. At the moment, we only trail Georgia and automaker juggernaut Michigan for total EV industry investment since November 2021, when the bipartisan infrastructure law passed. I think that North Carolina has tremendous opportunity to continue to build that momentum. One piece is on the market side, right? As we see lead investments like the Toyota battery plant or the VinFast production facility, there's market incentive for their suppliers and component manufacturers to locate near those operations. And that can create kind of a pylon effect and facilitate the emergence of a manufacturing hub dynamic. I think there's also an opportunity for state policy. Executive orders, goal setting, other policy activity can at the state level, can send really important signals to the marketplace that North Carolina is open for business and wants to be a leader in this space.
You talked about the economic impact and then the money. What impact has it had on jobs here in North Carolina?
So a lot of these initial investments will create jobs like in the construction space as we build these facilities. The jobs announced along with the facilities, so the jobs created and retained for our workforce are around 14,000 jobs associated with that $20 billion of capital investment. And like I said, that's exclusive of the construction and other jobs that will be served as we build these new facilities.
Talk to me about, you mentioned the fact that the state, its role in this, and state lawmakers will be the first to tell you that we've been rated best in business 2 years in a row by CNBC. What else can they do to help spur some of this growth?
Well, like I mentioned, things like goal setting, even something as simple as that can help. There's also the traditional economic development tools available to the state. If we want to get more specific in the EV policy space, supportive policies like EV-ready construction for private and commercial development, making it easier or being able to consider procurement of electric vehicles by looking at the total cost of ownership when state and local governments are looking to modernize their fleets of vehicles. Things like that really help send the signal that not only do we want the manufacturing, but there's a market for the products, growing market for the products here in North Carolina.
Have you found folks in Raleigh have been receptive to your industry?
In general, I think it cuts across some of our typical political divides. Everybody's interested in North Carolina's economic competitiveness, creating jobs and bringing investment to our states. We've seen this story play out in the clean tech space before in the last decades as North Carolina really rocketed to national and even international leadership in the solar energy space. We're seeing similar trends start to take root in the electric vehicle space, and there's a real opportunity for North Carolina to embrace this industry. for us at Environmental Defense Fund, we're interested in electric vehicles because they're better for our climate, because there is a lower overall cost of ownership for customers and fleet operators, and they're better for our health because they help eliminate tailpipe pollution. But there's a strong economic story to tell, and we get most excited about opportunities where the economics and the environment align. The growth of this industry in North Carolina can help us move toward a more sustainable future and a more profitable one.
Yeah, we always get excited to hear about issues that cut across partisan lines because it means things are getting done and we're making some progress. Generally speaking, is demand keeping up with supply when it comes to these things?
I think so. I mean, I think what the fact of these industry investments, I think, tells us that the industry sees this as a direction they want to go, that they recognize there's a growing segment of customers who are interested in this kind of product.
All right, David Kelly, the Director for the Environmental Defense Fund here in North Carolina. David, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Ben.
Still to come on Flashpoint, crime surging across, and now our youngest leaders are taking a stand.
4:48 right now. Let's send it over to Larry Sprinkle on this Tuesday morning. See how we're looking out there. Hey, Larry.
Good morning. Not a bad start. Some clouds out there this morning, but no issues. And temperatures are pleasant considering the time of the year. And this time yesterday, we had a lot of locations were in the 30s. We're 52 here. 41 at Boone. Yesterday morning, they were in the low 20s. It's 50 at Chester, South Carolina. Over to Albemarle, mid 40s there in Stanley County. For today, mainly cloudy. Late day showers, a possibility. We'll look for temperatures this afternoon somewhere from about 60 to 65 degrees, a little bit below the average of 67, 68 degrees. As we head towards the afternoon, showers possible as we get through the evening hours. You can see about 10 o'clock tonight, some heavier rain.
Thank you all for being here. This morning, our state is in shock, and I want to take this moment to speak directly to the people of our state. To our first responders, I'm in awe of you. I'm in awe of your courage. I'm in awe of your strength. I'm in awe of everything you do for each and every one of us. You saw a crisis, and you said, what can I do to help? And our response teams are doing everything in our power to rescue and recover the victims of this collapse, literally as we speak. People who, as we speak, are out there are divers, are air assets, people who right now are working to save lives and are doing it because the state asked. And we will update the public as the work continues. To our partners inside and outside of government, I know this has been a long night. We started coordinating immediately after the Key Bridge collapsed. We've been standing together every step of the way, from our county leadership, to our city leadership, to our state leadership, to our federal leadership. And I'm grateful to call each and every one of you not just colleagues, but I'm grateful to call you friends. And to the people of Baltimore, and each and every one of the 6.3 million Marylanders who call our state home. I recognize that many of us are hurting right now. I recognize that many of us are scared right now. And so I want to be very clear about where everything stands. We are still investigating what happened, but we are quickly gathering details. The preliminary investigation points to an accident. We haven't seen any credible evidence of a terrorist attack. Our administration is working closely with leaders from all levels of government and society to respond to this crisis, and not but just by addressing the immediate aftermath, but also by building a state that is more resilient and a state that's more safe. That is our pledge, and that's our commitment, and we're going to keep that commitment. And lastly, to the victims of this tragedy and their loved ones, all of our hearts are broken. We feel your loss, we're thinking of you, and we will always be thinking of you. We pray for the construction workers, who are on the Key Bridge, and we pray for everyone who has been touched by this tragedy and their families and all of their loved ones. But Maryland, we will get through this, because that is the Maryland spirit, and that's what Maryland is made of. We are Maryland tough, and we are Baltimore strong. So in the face of heartbreak, we come together. We embrace one another, and we come back stronger. That's what we've always done. That's what we'll continue to do. And that's what we're going to get done together. And we're going to pray for Baltimore. And I'd like to turn this over to Senator Van Hollen, who's done a remarkable job in our fellow delegation in providing support. So thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Governor. As the governor said, we come together. We come together in Baltimore, we come together in Maryland. First of all, our hearts go out to all those who are on the bridge and their loved ones. We pray for them. Our gratitude goes out to the first responders who, as we speak, are out there continuing to conduct search and rescue operations. I want to thank the governor, the mayor, county executive, all the people gathered here as part of Team Baltimore and Team Maryland. And the federal government is with them as a partner. The Coast Guard, as we speak, is also part of this mission. Coast Guard cutters, Coast Guard aviation assets. I spoke twice today with Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg has pledged that they will do everything they can to very quickly release emergency response funds for this important project. The National Highway Transportation Administrator is on his way to Baltimore if he's not here already. They will be releasing those early funds once all the parties are fully engaged. Second, the National Transportation Safety Board. I talked to the chair this morning. She and her team will be conducting an investigation of what happened. And finally, the Army Corps of Engineers, naval assets for looking below the surface and clearing. All of this is going to be part of the effort. The governor is leading Team Maryland, the mayor and the county executive, of course, Team Baltimore. But I'm just here to say, together with Ben Cardin, Senator Cardin, and Congressman Fume and others, the federal government is your partner in this effort. Thank you. And again, to the people of our state and the people of this great city, we're with you. We love you. We will get through this together. Thank you, Governor.
Good morning again. Paul Wiedefeld, Secretary of Transportation. Just a few updates since our meeting this morning. The crew that was out there working was basically repairing potholes, just so you understand that had nothing to do with a structural issue at all on the facility. At this time, one person has been rescued, and so far, and our efforts continue in terms of that. Engineers are on site right now, determining both some of the structural issues, obviously some of the debris field, and we'll start to work that, but we'll work hand in hand with the NTSB before we take any further action in that area. With that, I did want to introduce the FBI for a few comments as well.
Hello, my name is Bill Del Bagno. I'm the special agent in charge of the Baltimore field office. First and foremost, I want to say that our hearts go out to everyone that is impacted by this tragedy, especially the victims and their families. On behalf of the FBI, I would like to say that we are with you, we're with Baltimore, and we're with the partners every step of the way. The FBI, on very first, looking at and assessing this matter from an investigative standpoint, I want to be clear that there is no specific or credible information to suggest that there are ties to terrorism in this incident. The FBI has been part of this response from the beginning. We came within 1 hour to the command post and quickly lashed up with our very strong partners all along the way. We will bring whatever resources that the FBI has to bear. We've already brought our crisis response, our victim services, and just recently, our underwater search evidence recovery teams are on site. And we will continue to provide all those resources as long as it takes. And as the investigation goes on, we will take it to its logical conclusion along with our partners. To the people of Baltimore, to the public, I ask you to be patient as we go through this and as information becomes available to us. And lastly, I want to say thank you. Thank you to our partners. Thank you to everyone who in the FBI and counts on the FBI. We will always bring what we need to the people of Baltimore, and we are with you. I'd next like to introduce the Coast Guard.
Good morning. The Coast Guard is still actively searching at this time. We are using response boat crews from 2 of our local Coast Guard stations, one of our helo crews from Air Station Atlantic City, and also one of our cutter crews on one of our 87-foot patrol boats. We will continue to work with our local, state, and federal partners during this tragedy. Thank you.
Governor, when at this point is all traffic in and out of the harbor stopped at this point?
Governor, as far as you are aware, was the collapse of that bridge inevitable as that ship hit that part of the bridge?
No, we're still in the process of investigating exactly what happened. So we don't have any further details about whether or not it was inevitable or not.
But no structural issue with the bridge?
No, there was. In fact, the bridge was actually fully up to code, so we have no further information about what happened during that time.
Governor, is all shipping in and out of the port now stopped completely? And do you have any estimate very early on as to how long it will be before shipping can resume to the port of Baltimore?
Yeah, we don't have any estimates on timeline because right now our exclusive focus is on saving lives. Our exclusive focus is on search and rescue.
Can we have those numbers, Governor? Could you give us a better sense for the number? Because we had heard, I know Mr. Wiedefeld said 1 had been rescued, but earlier from Baltimore we heard that 2 had been rescued. Can you tell us the total numbers we're talking about that you're searching for, and how many have been rescued?
Well,
there are 8 individuals. 6 are being searched for right now. 1 is was taken to the hospital, and 1 is not in the hospital that we're speaking to.
So 6 unaccounted for?
Yes.
And does that involve individuals that may have been in vehicles that went in the water? Do we know?
We believe it's a construction crew.
Okay, so we don't think there's anyone in vehicles in the water?
No, we do not believe so.
Okay, Governor, we'll take questions right here. Take this question here.
Governor, 2 questions. How quickly did you find out about what happened here, and what was your reaction when you heard the scale of what just occurred at that bridge earlier today?
Well, I mean, I think it was probably within minutes of everything, less than an hour, when I know that my phone first rang, and first from the Mayor of Baltimore and also from our Chief of Staff, and it was. We know the Key Bridge. I've ridden over the Key Bridge countless times. So many of us know the Key Bridge because it is our normal commute. This is a place that is a normal commute route for over 30,000 Marylanders every single day. And so to hear the words that the Key Bridge has collapsed, it's shocking and heartbreaking. And immediately the first thought and the first ideas go back to what happened to the people, what was the impact on human life. But for every single one of us who are Marylanders, the words that the Key Bridge is gone, it still shakes us, because for 47 years, that's all we've known. And so this is not just unprecedented from what we're seeing and what we're looking at today. It's heartbreaking.
Governor, can you confirm that the crew on the ship alerted authorities that it had lost propulsion?
We can confirm that the crew notified authorities of a power issue. Yes.
And that they had lost power on the ship.
Yes. Correct.
Total of 8, excuse me, a total of 8, 1 rescued and in hospital, 1 not in hospital, but it is, we have communicated with that person, and then 6 that we are searching for.
And all construction workers were stuck at pothole? Were all 8 of them?
Yes, they were all related to the construction program, yes.
We heard that multiple vehicles went into the water. Any word on how many vehicles went into the water and the condition of those people that were in the vehicle?
Not at this time.
All right, we're going to shift over here. Was there any way to shut down the bridge? Was there enough time for that distress call to trigger something like that?
Now, the thing that we know is that, even as the boat was coming in, we had a ship that was coming in at 8 knots. So coming in at a very rapid speed. We do know that the investigation is currently going on, but I have to say I'm thankful for the folks who once the warning came up and once notification came up that there was a mayday, who literally by being able to stop cars from coming over the bridge, these people are heroes. They saved lives last night.
The focus is on rescue now and humanity. But looking forward, is there any vision for how long it could possibly take to remove the wreckage, to rebuild, how it could possibly be done? Can you look into the future at all at this point?
This is going to be a long-term build. It's going to be a build that's going to require every facet and every aspect of our society. It is something that I can tell you we are going to get this done. We are going to make sure that this is not just rebuilt, but that we are going to rebuild in a way that remembers the people who this tragedy has impacted, and also do it in a way that honors the community that it serves. But right now, I could not give you any form of estimate on timing or cost. Right now, my and all of our exclusive focus is we're just trying to save lives.
Can the mayor talk on the state of emergency locally, please?
Yes, thank you. Listen, we know the governor issued a state of emergency, but we at the local level felt the need to do that too, because there may be some things that we have to encumber with our fire department and other agencies that we'll be able to pull down support for as we all work together, again, as we're focused right now on saving lives and working through this unspeakable tragedy.
In the interim, I know that there's obviously the focus is on the rescue and the recovery, but this is such an important thoroughfare here in Baltimore for drivers, people trying to get around. How are they going to be able to manage while that is also going on?
Yeah, so we've also already been in touch with people about alternative routes and ways people can navigate now that this tragedy has happened. And I don't know, Secretary, if you want to speak to that as well.
Just to give you a sense of scale, roughly about 35,000 people a day use that facility. About double that use the Harbor Tunnel, and double that again use the Fort McHenry Tunnel. So basically, we don't have those 2 other options. We'll make sure that we have as much personnel out there to deal with any incidents, because as you know, that can cause the backups very quickly. And we will basically put out a lot of communications on different alternatives. We're also looking at transit alternatives as well.
Governor, will the legislature play in this response? What role will the legislature play in this response? Are there any policies, any state funding that's going to be freed up in the coming weeks?
Oh yeah, no. So we are, in fact, we have our Senate President here. We have members of the legislature here. The legislature is going to have a role in all of this, as will our local elected officials, as will state officials, as will the federal government. Everybody is going to have a role in terms of how we think about the rebuild.
Governor, how long do you expect shipping to be closed down through the port? Do you have any estimate in terms of the port here?
We don't at this point.
But
we don't at this point.
Ships are going in or out at this time.
Correct. Yeah, we don't have an estimate on timeline as of yet. Our focus really is right now on just make sure we're saving lives.
One last question.
Did that person die in the hospital? Are they able to get out at all or no?
I'm sorry, say it again.
The ships the vessels that are currently docked at the port, are they able to get out or no?
The one that's captured under the. Is that
still at port?
Oh, yes, that one's still at port. Yes.
We'll take one last question.
Yes, ma'am.
Was the ship being guided out by tugs, firstly? And secondly, did you just say that it issued a mayday in enough time that you were able to stop all traffic from entering both sides, so that the only casualties we expect are the workers on the bridge?
Yes, ma'am. So the investigation is still going on, so we're going to have all the full details and also all the full details about the timeline and the TikTok that took place. But we're thankful that between the May Day and the collapse that we had officials who were able to begin to stop the flow of traffic, so more cars were not up on the bridge. And I can
There were some on the bridge, or not? Were there any?
Well, during the collapse.
Yeah, were there some on the bridge? There have been reports that have been sonar that have detected vehicles at the bottom of the water. So as well as the 8 people, there could still be people trapped inside or potentially have died in vehicles. Is that correct?
I think, well, the investigation is still going on to find out exactly how many people and what was the situation. But the thing that we do know is that many of the vehicles were stopped before they got onto the bridge, which saved lives in a very, very heroic way.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. We'll have another update later. Thank you.
Chris speaking. Hey, Chuck.